Hi guys, so I'll be teaching us how to design this very simple fashion design flyer. So let's get started. Starting with a blank platform, a blank canvas. So the first thing I'll have to do is to import the design that I want to redesign for us to see, so that I can have something to always refer back to. So I'm going to import the design from my gallery. Okay, so this is the flyer I want to redesign, right? Okay, so if you watch very well, our canvas is the default canvas size. I didn't change the size. This is just a square flyer, so I didn't need to change the size from the image setting, right? So even if I wanted to change the size, I'll go to this background icon, then go to image size. You can see that the width and the height are the same pixels, right? So this shows that this is what a square flyer. So let's get started. The first thing in this design is the background. You can see the background has this tailor mannequin object, right? It's actually a background I got from Pinterest, so I'm going to import it into my background. I used it for my background in the course of this flyer design. So I'm going to import from gallery. So this is it here. Then I've already made it my background because I imported from gallery. I went to this particular icon, this background icon, and I clicked on from gallery, and I got this image from my gallery. I get all my images from Pinterest, right? So the next thing we're going to do is this, the lower part of this background. I used a square, so I'll go to the shape icon. I make sure nothing is highlighted on the background by clicking out. Then I'll see my shapes icon. It's just this, so I extended it. Then I tilted it a bit. Okay, you tick on good, then you tilt it a bit, like something like this, so we've gotten this particular one now. So the next thing we have to do is to import this little images that we have in 1 2 3. So I'm going to import them from my gallery. Now watch carefully, make sure nothing's highlighted on the screen, then click on import. But because I want to import this 1 2 3 images at the same time, I don't want to import them separately so that it will not waste my time. What I will do is I will tap on this. I'll make sure nothing on my screen is highlighted. Then I will tap on the import button 4 times because I want to get 3 images at once, but I would have to click what 4 times. So let's do this. 1 2 3 4. So this is 1. This is 2. And the last one, this is what 3. So now all the images have actually been imported to my Pixel Lab, like at once. I didn't have to keep importing one after the other. I just clicked on my import 4 times and I got my images at once. So I just click good. This one imported twice, right? So when you're importing 3 images, please click on the import button 3 times, right? And not 4 times. 4 times is when you want to import 4 images. I actually made a mistake. So let's continue. I'm going to delete this image. Good. So I'll just have to reduce each of them. Reduce the sizes first of all. Then I have to look at this. I need to bring this particular flyer that I'm making reference to the front so that I can be able to see everything that's in the flyer. So I'll bring it to front, then I'll enlarge it a bit so I'll see how the arrangement of the objects looks like. So this is for this one. I'll just have to reduce it right? Then place it here, right? Here is okay. Then for the second one, which is this one here, I just have to make sure that I put it in a square size. So for me to make it in a square size, I'll just go to crop, right? I'll click on crop, then click on this particular crop size, which is 1 by 1. I'll just click on it. Then I have to resize it, like just push it up a bit, because I don't want the head to cut off. I want it to start from beginning, then cut towards the middle. Then I'll tick good. Then now I've gotten this. So what I'll just do, just to reduce it a bit, then place it somewhere here. I'm going to push this one a bit out, then push this one here. From the flyer, it's looking as if this one was a bit to the top, so I'm going to place it in the same direction. Then for this one, I'm going to have to reduce the size. I don't want to crop this because this is a full gown length. I want anybody seeing this flyer to really see the beauty of this dress. So I'm not going to cut it, but I'm just going to have to reduce it and make sure that it has the same width as this one here, right? So but I have to reduce it to make sure that it stops where this one stops. So I'll reduce this and place it here. Then at the same time, I'm going to reduce this and make sure it has the same width with this. Okay, I think this is perfect, right? So let's move ahead. If you look at this flyer, you can see that these images has strokes behind them, brown strokes. So let's add brown strokes. For the first one, I click on the first one. I'll go to look for stroke. Always make sure that when you're working on objects or images, that you are always on the object icon and not on the text icon, right? So from here, I'll just have to scroll to the options till I get to the stroke icon. Then I will enable it, then look for brown. Brown is among the color palette that was provided by Pixel Lab. So this is brown. This is the shade of brown I want to use. I'm trying to see if there's another one. Okay, so this is the shade of brown that I want to use. So what I will do is to increase the stroke width to 4. 4 is okay for me, right? You can choose to increase yours to your satisfaction, but I just want to use 4 for this tutorial. Then for this one, I'm going to still do the same. I'll go to stroke. Enable it. Select the brown color, right? Then increase the stroke to 4. Same goes for this. I would go to stroke, enable it. Select the brown color, then increase the stroke to 4. Good. I don't know if you watch now, since when I added stroke to this image is now looking jam-packed, like it's looking a bit packed. So I have to just give them a space. I have to give it a space. I have to shift them both up and down, then yes, both up, then sideways. So what I will just have to do is to look for my position 2, then I'll just reduce the movement a bit. Then I'll have to move it by the right hand just a bit, so there will be a little space between these two images. Same goes for the one under. I'll just have to click on this particular position 2, then move it a bit, right? Then for this one, I have to move it up a bit. Then move this one up a bit too, till it is at the same line with this other one, right? I want to make sure they are the same line. This is what we call alignment. I'm trying to make sure my images are aligned, right? If you're not sure your images are aligned, you can use your grid tool, right? You click on this particular one here to make the grid movable. Then you select this one and move it down, right? You can see they are both on a straight line. If they were not on the same line, you would have seen it and you'd have been able to adjust it. But right now it's on a straight line, so I'm not going to touch it. So I'll close the grid, then continue. The next thing I would have to do now is the name of the brand. It's called Speaking Fashion, right? Speaking Fashion. So I would have to just type out the text by clicking on my A, right? I want to now work with text, so A is for my text. So I'll click on A and click on plus, then I'll bring it out, then edit. Now just type out speaking fashion. Good. I'll have to just minimize this a bit, then place it somewhere. Speaking fashion. Then I'll change the fonts. right? I'll change the font because this font is not ideal for this design. The font I used was Cogley TTF. This is the font I used for this. So you can copy out the name of this font. Then later on, you can go and download it from Chrome or from Google. Then you install it. I have another video where I taught about how to install font into your Pixel Lab. So just copy the name of this font, then go to Google, search for it, and make sure you follow the video and install it successfully into your Pixel Lab. So this is the font I used for this flyer. But something again, the space between speaking and fashion is too much, right? I don't like it, so I'd have to reduce the spacing between speaking and fashion. What I would do is I'm going to go to line spacing, not just spacing. Spacing, this particular spacing is to give spaces between the letters, but this is line is just to reduce the space between the lines, right? So I'd have to just click on line spacing, then reduce it. I'll make sure they are almost joined. So I like it this way. I'll tick good. So now we have gotten the speaking fashion. The next thing we have to do is this. It's looking as if this speaking fashion is not really showing, like it's not really very visible, even though it's visible. But for me, I'm feeling that this white on this background is not kind of really standing out. So I'd have to put a shadow behind, so it will just lift the image a bit. So I'll click on shadow, then enable it. When I enable it, it will automatically add a black glow behind the text. So I'm okay with this. I don't have to touch any particular setting. I really like this particular setting, so I'll just continue, right? The next thing for me here from this flyer is I have to move it to the front so I can be able to see all. The next thing here is services. Services is the next thing that we have to write. So I'll just go to my text again, click on plus, then I'll write services. Okay. So if you look, this service has a particular background behind it, like as if a rectangle was behind the services. Actually, I didn't use a rectangle. What I used here was this. So if I highlight service, I'll just look for background, right? It's background I used. So I will enable it. It automatically add a background behind the text. So what I'll just do is to change the color to this is particular shade of yellow I used. Then I will increase the left padding. So I want to make sure that there's a bit of space between the text and the background, right? So I'll increase the left padding to around 10, increase the right padding to around 10. Okay, let's just make everything 10 10. Top padding, I think 5 is okay. Bottom padding, 5 is okay for now. Then I'll tick good. But I have to reduce it because in the flyer it's actually very small, right? I have to reduce it because it's not like it has to be visible, but it's not the main focal point. The main focal point here is the name of the brand, right? So that's why also we have to learn how to be able to organize your designs by having what we call hierarchy. Hierarchy is the way you arrange information from the most important to the least important, right? So the most important thing in this flyer now is the name of the brand, right? And also the images, because people would have to just look at your image, your design, and know what this design is talking about. You don't have to start designing something that will now make people not to understand what you're actually doing. Because if people don't really understand your flyer, then that is the beginning of your downfall. That is the beginning of bad market for your client. So let's continue. I'll change this font for service to Poppins. Okay, the name of the font is Poppins. You can still check it out, download and install to your Pixel Lab. I use Poppins regular. Okay, so I've gotten services. The next thing here is just to list out the services, right? So what I did this time around was to get a rectangle, then blur the rectangle a bit by reducing the opacity, and that's all. So I'll get rectangle by clicking on this object icon and make sure nothing is being highlighted on the screen. Then I'll see my shape icon. Then just have to reduce it, decrease the opacity. Like from here, when you get to your rectangle, you just slide up. There are some options beneath. So from here, I reduce the opacity. I'll change the color. This is the same color I use, the same yellow, but I'll just have to reduce the opacity a bit, right? So I think I like this. I like it like this, so I just stick on good. But I have to reduce this a bit because it's looking a bit too big. Then something else you have to see is that this rectangle is on top of this image, and I don't want it like that because in this flyer is actually behind. So what I will do is this: I'll go to my layers panel, right, and make sure that I take, like, if you just click here, it is draggable. You can be able to drag it beneath that image. We want it to be under the image, this particular image, so beneath it. When it's there, it actually has to be here. When it's here, then everything is now behind that image here, right? So the next thing for me to do is to bring out the services, to list the services, all kinds of male wears, all kind of female wears, and the rest. So the next thing I'll do again is go back to A, click on plus to add a new text, then edit. Okay, so this is the text here, right? This is the text. So I'll still have to change this text. I'd have to change this text into Poppins, but I use Poppins for the information text, right? Always make sure you just use barely 3 fonts for your design. Highest, a maximum of 3 fonts, a minimum of 1 font, a maximum of 3 fonts. It should not be more than 3, right? So the fonts I'm using here is what? Poppins. I'm still going to maintain Poppins regular for this texture, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is just to list out the venue and the phone number, right? So I'll just have to do that. Again, I'll go to A, I'll click on text, then I'll go to edit, then this is where I have the phone number. Okay, you found out that I wrote N before I wrote the phone number. I use a font called Typeecon. Typeecon changes some letters into icons, social media icons. So N is the social media icon for call. That's for that font. So I'll show you how I changed it. So I'll give it a black color so that it can be visible. A black color. Good. So now it's time for me to change this font into normal font that I used on this flyer. So what I'll do is to go to font. The font I used here was Poppins, but it's no longer Poppins regular because I wanted the font to really stand out. I wanted the information, the phone number to really come out. So I used Poppins semibold, right? You can see that these are different weights of the same font. I used Poppins, but now I'm using different weights. Regular is just a normal weight font, right? You can see. But when I go to semi-bold, it kind of adds more thickness to the font. So for this N now, I want to change this N into a social media icon. I'll make sure that I highlight only N by just moving this slider. Then only N is selected. Then I'll now have to type Typeecon. Typeecon is a font that changes text to social media icon, right? So this is the Typeecon font. So you can also download this font for your design. When I click on it, that's changed the N into a call icon. Then I'll click on OK. Then I'll put it down here, but I'll just have to reduce the size a bit. Next thing I have to do is to input the venue of this, like the location where this fashion design brand is located, right? So what I'll have to do now, instead of just going to stress myself in getting new text, right, I'll just duplicate this particular text here. I'll duplicate it because I still want to make sure that the location has the same semi-bold Poppins, right? I don't want to change the semi-bold. I want it to still be semi-bold so I can still be really like seen or visible. So what I'll have to do now, I'll just have to edit this to the location of the brand. So this is it. M is the social media. Okay, N is the icon. M is the icon for venue, right? So if you don't want to go online and start downloading venue and start importing to your Pixel Lab, you just have to just write M, then use Typeecon font to change it to venue icon. So okay. So if you could understand what happened, because I did not change this particular, I had to duplicate this one, right? So when I now change the font, so when I now change the right up, it automatically changed the M here to what? To the location icon immediately. So we're almost done with this flyer. This is a very simple flyer that does not have to waste our time. You can just create this flyer and get a lot of money after the design, right? So this is it. If you look at this flyer, there's a little bit of line between the phone number and the venue or location, as the case may be. So what I just did was this. I just made sure that I just got a line. How I got the line was by creating a rectangle. I'll click on shapes. Good. Then I'll create a rectangle, but I'll have to reduce it like this. Then I'll change the color to brown. So it's brown I used in that flyer. I'll change the color to brown. This particular brown. Then I'll use the move tool to move it down. I would increase the speed, then move it down, then to this point, then move it up, then down again. Then I have to reduce this size because it's not really long, just like this. Then I'll just shift it towards this direction a bit. Okay, so this is it for this flyer, right? But something, if I checked this flyer, let me bring it to front. I checked this flyer and this image is here, these models here, right? They are down, they are a bit down, but our own is looking a bit up. So I have to just adjust them to go down. So let me show you a trick on how you can adjust 3 or 4 objects on Pixel Lab at the same time. Instead of me to be moving it 1, 2, 3, right? I can show you how you can move the 3 of them together. So let's get started. I'll just have to go to the layers panel, right? When I click on it, I now have to look for this 1, 2, 3 images. So this is 1, 2, 3. Then I have to click on this icon here. When I click on it, it automatically open a place where I can be able to see boxes. So I'll take this one, like that is by selecting the ones I want to move together. So I'll take 1, 2, and 3. Then when I'm done, I'll click on this place. It opens icons for you. You can now see your position too, right? You just click on it, then you can now move it down a bit. So you can see 3 of them are really moving down at the same time. You don't have to keep moving them down manually. So I think this location is okay. I think this is really fine, right? This is really fine. So good, just tick good, then click on the layers panel to remove it. So we are done with this redesign. So this time around I don't need this anymore, so I'll just close the eye. Good. So another thing to check for in your design is alignment, right? So you have to make sure your designs are aligned so that it also shows that you are a very orderly person. You don't just do a design and some elements are up, some are down, some are in the middle, some are beside, some are just like, everything has to be aligned so that the eye can be able to understand the train of information. If your design or your objects or your elements are not aligned, you'll be seen as a haphazard designer. So how can we make sure my designs are aligned? Even though they are looking aligned, but I want to make sure everything is still on a straight line, right? So I'm going to use my grid again. I'll click on my grid. Then to make sure my grids are movable, I'll click on this particular icon. So what I would do is, I want to make sure this venue, that this text for this venue and these images, they are on the same line. Good, they are on the same line. I was able to get this even without using the grids because I've designed for years and I know when things are almost at the same position. Then we have to make sure that everything here are also on the same line, right? Now we can find out that the venue and the dates, the venue and the phone number are not even on the same line. Like it's not touching this particular line. So what would I do? I'll have to push them to make sure they touch the line. But with the way this is like highlighted, right, I can't be able to move this. So what I have to do is to make sure I click on this one again Then I cannot be able to move this. So I have to just move this by using the position to just push it a bit till it touches the line. Same thing for this one, till it touches the line. Good. So everything now is on a straight line, right? They are all on the same line. Then same goes for this line. I want to see if these two images here are on the same line. So I'll just move one of this. Then good, they are on the same line. So if they were not on the same line, I'll just have to adjust it till I make sure that they are on the same line. So this is how I was able to design this flyer. It's actually a very simple and straightforward flyer, and also it's very understandable. Like anybody who sees this flyer knows that this is a flyer for a fashion brand. Nobody has to ask, what is in this flyer? At least from the way you are seeing tape, from the way you are seeing people's dresses, and from the name of the brand, Speaking Fashion, and from the services down to the phone numbers, you could actually tell that this flyer is for what? A fashion brand. So thank you so much. I really look forward to seeing you in my next tutorial. Kindly drop a comment, criticism, corrections, anything on the comment section. I'll be really glad to read them. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.